Welcome back to another FastAPI slash Go video. Maybe I might be learning Go in the end. Yeah, as I promised, we'll be doing some bit of FastAPI. I just have a bit of more test to write, and then we'll do something more intellectually interesting. I'm not saying writing FastAPI tests are not intellectually interesting, but they're better things to do, right? And so in the last video, we were doing some of these tests, and obviously there's some spaghetti code that I have written that I'll never forget. These are basically contains all of our fixtures that we can use. Yes, I think I've done this. Right, pretty much that is what we have done, so to speak. And if I look at test authorized user, that's not the thing. What I mean by authorized client is the issue. Yeah, so um, I think this takes care of it, right? I mean, this is returning it, so I don't have to do yield because this is anyways. If you see this, you see this is actually yielding it itself. So it just checks key when it's the last use, and then it will delete all of this for us, right? Which is great. So let's just check. Let's run PyTest. Great. What's the difference? Good question. Test authorized user. This is test login user. You would say, right? You would say that, to be honest. Um, um, test log user. Right, so that shouldn't contain any issues. Let's just run our test one more time. Hopefully that just works out of the bat. Yeah, it does work. So that is great. Because that will pretty much make sure. And this is our authorized client. So this will add, we pretty much say jo bhi hai. And plus this authorization, we say bearer is equal to token. This token we get from here test signed in user. So we say user ID test signed. हम लोग उसको दे रहे हैं, right? Because we are good people. And so then we do that, which is great. Yeah, so we did bunch of test posts. We said we did test latest posts. Also ज़रूरत है भी या नहीं? To be honest, this is good enough. I think this is like
Grab the post property. Actually, it's this first one. Yeah. So we'll grab post.post.id equals. Then we're going to compare it to the ID from test_posts. So it's a test_posts 0.id client. We're going to need a test user for sure. And lastly, this is purely optional. If you want to, we could also set up all of our test posts. If you wanted some posts in the database before you created one, just to potentially see if you run into any issues when it comes to creating posts when there's already posts, but it's optional. And we're going to set the res, and we'll set this to authorized client.post, and the URL is going to be /posts. And then let's give all of the data for our new post. So we'll say JSON equals title, And you know what? Instead of doing this, let's go ahead and set up a PyTest
Well,
dot. Oh, what was it called? I already forgot what did we call it?
parameter.
A parameterize. So mark parameterize so that we can test multiple different values. Mark dot. Why is that not working? Okay, I have to import PyTest. And we don't need this line right here, so we'll say import PyTest. And so what are the values that we need? How about title? We need title for sure. We need content. And then we can also give a published value if we wanted to. And then let's give all of our, come on, VS Code, don't do that. All right, first tuple, what do we want the title? How about awesome new title? Ooh, awesome new title. What's awesome new content. And what do we want published to be? How about true? And we're going to copy this, and I'm just going to put in some new values. Favorite pizza. And we'll say, I love pepperoni. Ooh. Published. Let's say that's still a work in progress. Tallest skyscraper. All right, so we've got some test data. Let's pass those values in. So title is going to be set to title. Content is going to be set to content. And then finally, published will be set to published. All right, we get a response back. Let's do a little bit of validation with our Pydantic model. So I can say schemas.post. And we'll just take the response, convert it to JSON, of course, and set that to created_post. And then we can just run a couple of checks. So let's assert the status code. So for creating a new post, it should be a 201. And then...
Bro, why am I listening to this? Actually, I don't need... Yeah, I don't need anything like that. Anyhow, that doesn't really matter. Say connection is equal to SQLite 3 dot. Just doing a simple. Okay, let's try connecting, obviously. And we will say finally. This should work over here as well. Right. Right. So now what we'll do is okay. Cursor dot execute. Select start from course. I think वही कर रहे हैं. I think that should work. And we pretty much result is equal to cursor dot fetch all, and we will essentially just print result. Okay. Okay, cd app, cd routers. I. कहाँ पे? What are you saying? Oh man, I'm so good about this. Let me give you the name. I am assuming what it is sharing is, yeah, so this is pretty much how the actual post works. To actually see proper post. Can I do that? Can I say from schemas import post? Can I do this? Will it bite me? I can actually. So yeah, so this is where we'll actually just play around and see what we can do. Yeah, so we have post over here. So this is essentially what we're doing, fetch all, right? And once we do fetch all, it fetches all of this. Now, one thing I wanna try to do is I wanna do WSL. Yeah, I just wanna do SQLite 3 app crew.db select star from खाली एक ही है क्या? एक ही है. Okay. Um, okay, let's run a server real quick. Actually, not over here. Okay, let's just run a server real quick. Okay, let's do fast API dev app main. Okay, done. That works. Okay, let's try login. Great. Let's try creating a post. Let's send this, and this gets sent. And if I um okay, if I try to get all posts, right? If this would work, then if I okay, so now this works. Let's close this. Just wanted to get some data in this, right? Okay, so this we have some data now. Let me do more table. Let me do header on. Much better. Okay, so now that we have some data, we can now run this bunch of data. So, okay, this is good. This is good. This is what we want, right? Okay, so how do we work with this? That's the real question. Can I do something like for if I say something like post, can I say for post in post, print post, and let's actually move this. Okay, great. Um, and right. Um, and how do I access like certain elements of it? Like, is it by calling them or what? Okay, so it seems like it's like this. There has to be a better way, right? Right. Okay, it seems like that's the only way, which does suck, but okay, so what we could do is we can say all all post dot append, and then we can look at the schemas real quick and see what the, so we can say something like post id is, and if you look at this, you can actually look at the schema for the real, इसमें कुछ लिखा रहेगा. It's the second, which is user ID. So essentially this is 0 1 0 1 2, so this is 2 now. This is so bad. Title is oh okay. What is this? Okay, it seems like that is what it has to do. है तो रो फैक्ट्री पे it is on though. It should do that. She has not removed that also. I'll be very sad. Okay, let's just print post real quick. I don't know why I'm spending way too time on this. Okay, and I'm assuming if I do something like user ID, this does the work though, so I don't know what the reason for it misbehaving is. All post dot append, and if I say post, if I do post ID is equal to post dot ID, and if I say user ID is equal to post dot ID, and और क्या क्या है इसके स्कीमा में, title है, so title is equal to post dot title, then we have content which is equal to post, right, and इसमें क्या दिखा रहा है. I think I know what is happening over here. So क्योंकि मैं ये करता हूँ normally, right, so bit of a translation layer over here. Problem क्या है? Yeah, my bad. इसमें yeah, so let's run this. So something happens. If I do print all posts, so this should work though. So now if I actually run this out over here, right, if I pretty much मैंने same ही चीज़ किया है यहाँ पे, right, and right, and then if I return all posts, and if I I think कहाँ से quick fix. Okay, chat, let's see if this works or not. Now the question is, does this thing works or not? Let us first of all run our PyTest suite to make sure we're not running anything bad. Okay, the existing functionality works. Let us do something very weird. Let us do fast API dev app name. So this is running, which is great. Let me get all post. Okay, this works. Um, okay. Um, so now with this done, obviously I'll remove this. Right, we remove that. Right, with that done, pretty much. Yeah, so how to test for list scheme in Pydantic. How to model validate. So essentially the first task is let's take simple scheme. Yeah, so I think we can use this. So okay, um, from typing. Okay, um, I mean doesn't really matter. From typing import list. वही लिखा ना ऊपर वही same. Okay, and then I can say from pydantic import base model जरूरत नहीं type adapter या और कुछ नहीं जरूरत है and I can pretty much come here and say adapter is equal to type adapter list post and then I can say adapter dot validate python data. So you mean like simply like this? अरे कहाँ डाल दिया इसको? Oh, it actually validated. Okay, that's good. Um, if I remove this, right, it will give no posts. Like, where is that sound coming from? And yeah, that will run the tester, and yeah, that was pretty much all of the tests that we have written so far. I mean, they can write as many tests as they want.
Or we can just assert a few extra values. So I could say like res dot. Actually, I can grab created underscore post dot title should equal title and I can just do the, oops, I need two equals, and then I can just
I
copy this a few
mean,
times. We'll change the post, and we'll have client test underscore user, and we'll definitely need test post in this case. And then we can essentially copy, well, I'll copy this one right up here. And we'll change this to, we don't need the body anymore. And the route is going to be, we're going to pass test underscore posts 0 dot ID. All right, let's test that out. Yep, and I realized this should be a delete actually, not a post. That's why I got some other status code. Perfect. All right, so we got that one to pass. And so now let's test a valid deletion. So I'll say test delete post.
that wouldn't do
And
much
ideally, I
test.
guess we should be calling like success, like we successfully deleted it. And this time we'll get the authorized underscore client. We'll get the test user. Up in here.
Yeah, I
Let's
mean,
test deleting a non-existent post, so an ID that doesn't exist in our database. I'll say test delete post non-exist. And I'll just copy these. And I'll copy this. Actually, I'll just copy all. And we'll need a test user. And we'll need test underscore posts. All right, and I'm going to define a dictionary with the values that I want to update. And so here I've got the title, the content, and then the ID, which I'm grabbing from test posts. And I'm just going to use the first test post in there. And I'll say res equals authorized client dot, I think it's put. And then we're going to do an F
is it
string.
put?
And we'll say slash posts. And this one will be test underscore posts 0 dot ID. And then we have to pass in the data, so we'll do JSON equals data. So we're passing in this dictionary. Right, and just like we do with the other routes, if we go to the update post, and now I can just change.
Let me
this
just
to test posts.
see his code instead of like, just
Okay, so that one successfully passed. All right, the next thing I want to test on is what happens when a user tries to vote or like a post that he's already liked. So we'll call this a def test underscore vote underscore twice underscore post.
I mean, we can do that, to be honest. Like, there wouldn't be a high effort test, I think, but we can do that. We can clearly do that. So I can say something like def test. We said test update. I think the way I've coded this, if I say post, it first runs and what exists? Update existing post. And to do this, I need to be an authorized client, so I need to take authorized client. I have to take test post, right? And the way I do this, if I do res is equal to client dot put post and f string over here, and we can say test post um, mm, and if I actually come here and check, it's returning ID, it's post ID. So I can something like post ID, and over here I can say authorized client batcher, right? And essentially that's the way he did it. And so yeah, so then I can say JSON is equal to what should be the JSON be. I can say something like, wait, how do we always do the JSON part? I forgot. Oh yes, we say that. Okay. I can say something like updated title, and I can say content, and I can say updated content, and yeah. So I think I can do something like assert rest dot status code to be equal to what? What should it be equal to if it does everything properly? It should be 200. If that is something we want to see. Yeah, let's run the test again, chat. There's no like print statements. Yeah, so there we have an issue. The issue is 404 not found. So 404 not found post with this ID does not कुछ लिखा होगा 404 not found, right? And then we can also say print res.json.get detail to make myself feel more bad about not passing the test. Let's see what the test is. uh oh my bad, सोचा था इसमें ही रुक जाता है ये. Sorry, क्या बोला इसने? uh wow, what? 559, how is it being inflated all of a sudden? What? What? Okay. One more thing I just want to check. They are calling कर रहे हैं ना लोग. Okay, and I remove that because I'm the goat. And then I'll say JSON is equal to let's assert something. Let's say I assert that the status code is gonna be equal to 200. Okay, it runs. Um, what is happening? It's saying 404. Yeah, I mean, this is just annoying. I don't even want to do this. Uh, yeah, chat, I'm not fixing that, to be very honest with you. Like, I'm done. I think if we run any other test, it will work. Yeah, that works. That's great. Let's just run all the tests, and yeah, I'll end it over here. Um, yeah, I think test is fine. Test is fine. What test did we add? To be honest, tried adding update post test, but same issue as it uses get ID, which uses db path, skips git push. Yeah, that kind of sucks. Anyhow, chat. Anyhow, I think that's enough for today. I think we don't need to write that many tests. Right. I think we've 3 videos have been all about tests. I think we'll be looking into this. What is this about? Let's just see a
For the
glimpse.
second method of deployment, we're going to see how we can deploy our application on an Ubuntu server. And it's important to keep in mind that it does not matter where you host your Ubuntu server. You can run it on any of the major cloud providers, AWS, Azure, GCP. You can run it on DigitalOcean. You can run it on your local machine. Yeah, if you have VirtualBox installed on your computer, you can run it on Raspberry Pi. It doesn't matter. The steps are going to be identical as long as you run it on an Ubuntu server. Now, what we're going to do in this course is I'm going to show you guys how to deploy it on DigitalOcean, just because it's $5 a month. It's cheap. It's a fixed price. If you deploy it on AWS, then the price is kind of, it varies. And if you run, you should be able to use the create another directory that's the name of my
I don't think we can. Digital Digital Ocean. Run AI products in production. Yeah, every company needs to put AI, right? I'm already kind of don't like this company at all, but sure, think let's see. ठीक है, let's sign up with GitHub real quick, I guess. Checking for bots. Is it free? Is DigitalOcean free tier? Um, static. Oh wow, oh, you have $5 in crazy. Wow, I have $5 जो मतलब I can use without worrying about anything. It's pretty much AWS but with like nice UI. ठीक है यार, it's good. Everyone is doing good stuff. I think we'll do this in a different video. For the remaining portion of the video, I think we will just do Go. Right? I don't think anything else is major missing from here. I think what we will really think about is, yeah, I mean, you know what, we'll come back to this. I think what we really have to worry about is Redis and all that, and so we will do that. Before we do that, we will also do a little bit of Go today. So let me just pause and we'll go do. I'll just set up the Go environment. And we are back with tour of Go. And so we were learning about, essentially we were learning about methods and interfaces. Before actually learning Go this way, I had actually used this um, website, which is Learn Go with Tests, which is, it teaches you what test driven development is. It essentially is a process of developing code where you first write the tests for the functions, right? Write the bare minimum code to pass those tests, and then you refactor the code and then you pass the test. You refactor the code and you pass the test. And that is when, and that is what test driven development is in my words, right? So it's pretty much you are checking the correctness of your code every time you refactor it, instead of checking it, in ahead of time and in the future, right? So I was using this. So I want to just finish reading this, to be honest, before I read this, right? And I had the code of this, but yeah. So I guess we'll just start with the tour of Go, and we'll think alternate or not. I don't know, but let's see. Methods. So yeah, for some reason, Go has this thing called methods. Actually, let me just open that file real quick. Just give me 2 minutes. Yep, back. So this was the code that I was writing in Go. So this is pretty much like type def that we used to do for a year. Yeah, so this was essentially what methods is. So pretty much similar to it, but it's a nice way to write it. Instead of taking types as arguments, you can give any type a method, and instead of putting inside the parameter, it can call this method, right? So ABS is a method that is called upon vertex types and returns a float 64, and it takes a vertex type as a function, right? Then you have methods are functions. So we have a right. So again, this is the way that's normally written, but you can, with that case, like, so this is the way you normally write it, or you could do something like fmt parent ln, my bad, my bad, or you can do something like v dot apfs. Like that's the way you do it using methods. Methods of function. Oh wow, same code, not the same code. Methods continued. You can declare a method on non-struct types too. Yeah, so you can say, well, on all floats, right? I think on all floats you can run ABS function. Now I wonder if I can do something like func I. Can I say int? I can say negate. Can I say, and it returns an int, and I return was 0. Can I do that? Invalid receiver type int is a non-local type, so I can't use non-struct. Okay, so I can't use built on types. Okay, then we have pointer receivers. You can declare methods with pointer receivers. So again, we know what methods are, right? So again, this is one method which is can be called upon using vertex and runs float. And then we have another func, which this is scale, right? This scale itself method takes and float, and it is called upon by the pointer which is pointing to a vertex. Ah, okay. Hmm. Yeah, so essentially that's how it is. So if you give any struct without pointing to it, it gives you a local copy of it. So whatever you change with it, it won't change the actual struct that you passed on, which is great because then it prevents your function from doing something that's dangerous. But if you pass a pointer with essentially it's passing the copy of a pointer, so you can't really change anything of the pointer being passed to you, but you can change what is being pointed by the pointer, if that makes sense, right? So if you see v vertex and we say v dot scale 10, so v is actually the address of this vertex, and we say scale, so this scales this up. So if I run this, and this is abs, so abs is that anyhow, I don't know what. those things are about. Um, but yeah, so I don't v dot scale. V dot scale does nothing, it just verifies that. Let's do something like v dot x is equal to this and v dot y is equal to this, and we can say v dot x and v dot y. um, I'm so sweaty right now. uh, oh, I didn't printf, my bad. I was like always like, yeah, why is it not taking v as that? Anyhow, pointer I think there's somewhere else, right? Methods, cd, right? If I do go run task go, but so you see this does increase it, right? But if we actually remove this, I don't know why this is the case. I would assume this would be the case, to be very much honest with you. Like, what's the issue over here? I don't know why it takes that, but anyhow, if you remove this, right, and if you run this, nothing will change. Right, this will still be 3 and 10, but while doing this, it takes a pointer. I don't know why the jankiness of it is like that, but sure. Pointers and functions. Here we see ABS and scale method rewritten as functions. So now it's written as functions, and so this is func returns that, okay, and we have scale which takes in the pointer to the vertex and then f, which is a float, and does that. So yeah, now that is fine. Again, by removing the star we can see why the behavior changes. What else do you need to change for examples? What else do you need to change for the example? I'm not sure. Huh? Also try removing this. Does not compile or what? Crazy. Now it's getting interested. So cd back, let's go cd pointers and functions and go, okay, so go run task. This is not compile. That's compiled though. Right, so we do abs, and to be honest, if you do fmt.printf and you say x dot x is this and x dot and if I do v dot, right, and if I run this does change it, that's great. And then abs क्या करता है? abs vertex को लेता है and उसका square root करता है. Okay, the reason why this is not changing is you have to do something like absv and sorry, v, and then this will change. What's the issue with this? This returns a float 64. ठीक तो है, float 64 रिटर्न करिए, सही है. 50. What's wrong with this? सही तो है. Methods and pointer indirection. Some names are crazy. Over 25 crazy. Finish it. Comparing the previous two programs, guys. Chat. Let me just turn on the AC of this. It's getting hot over here. Just turn on the AC. Yeah, that's cool. Methods and pointer indirection. Comparing the previous two programs, you might notice that functions with a pointer argument must take a pointer. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, okay. While methods with pointer receivers take either, yeah, okay, yeah, this is what I saw. Yeah, exactly this is the question was. He, in this method, even though this takes a pointer, he's just giving it the value. So find this thing, something. Okay. Okay, this is peak chat. While methods with value receivers that take either a value or pointer as the receiver when they are, okay, what does that mean? while methods with value receivers take either a value or a pointer. Okay, so we have v vertex. Okay, p dot this. Okay, in the case this method called p dot interpreted. Okay, so it either works. So while when you do that pointer wala in a method, Go will work with both if you give it the value itself or if you have something like this. Acha, okay, and you don't have to dereference it pretty much. I thought it because the Go automatically dereference it for you. Like, so that like why does that work like that? So I could come here and say p this, right? This is valid. This is valid, chat, and I can say p this. Okay, crazy. Okay, let's see this code over here. So we have func v vertex abs, and we have abs func, which is again this is a function, right? Right. So we have this which runs, and then we have star v. This won't run, right? Because this is calling abs, but abs takes a vertex. Okay, so this can take. Okay, that's that. I mean, I can understand why this is the case. Okay, that was the function, my bad. So we have func scale, so we have scale over here, and this takes a pointer to a vertex, and this is a method, and this does that. Then we have scale func, which again it takes a pointer to the vertex. This is a normal function. Takes a vertex and takes a f. So now we have v this, we do scale that, this will to do it, and this will do scale func, which will also do it. Right, then we do this, so this will also work because it doesn't really matter if you give it a pointer or the value. This will work, and then we do scale func. Scale func will also take out that vertex. Yeah, this works. So in this case this should be equal. Yeah, so why is it not equal? I mean, if the initial cases are not equal, but if you do it to be equal, right, if I do this to be equal, both are equal essentially. Cool. So why is that? And is that a way of showing that you're re-referencing a pointer? Because that's cool, I would say. Anyhow, pointers and methods, the equivalent thing happens in the reverse direction. Functions that take value argument must take the value of that specific type. So we have var vtex abs func. So abs func takes a value compilation, while methods with value receivers can take either a value or a pointer. So again, if we have over here bdr abs takes. So the moment I do this and the moment I set a type, I have to assume in my mind that this is just a suggestion. It could either be a pointer or the value itself. Makes sense. So this is pretty much dealing with the actual change. Hmm. Again, this runs, right? ABS, so ABS func will run. You can't do this, right? It now you see this. This is dereferencing the pointer. This is the first time I'm seeing it dereferencing a pointer. Hmm. I want to see something. Let's see if this works. Um, I want to see if I don't dereference it. Does Go automatically dereference it for me? Or what's your saying? What's the error? Okay. Choosing a value or a pointer receiver. There are two reasons to use a pointer receiver. The first is so that the method can modify the value that the receiver points to. The second is to avoid copying the value on each method call. This can be more efficient if the receiver is not stuck. In this example, scale APS methods receiver type, even though the APS doesn't verify its receiver in general, methods on a given type should be have either value or pointer receivers, but not a mixture of both. Um, in general, all methods on a given type should have either value or pointer receivers. Yeah, that is right. But as we have already seen from the past 7 and 6, Go doesn't really care. I mean, if you give it a value, it'll be like, wow, that's great. If you give it a pointer, it'll be like, wow, that's also great. So, I mean, this is a great practice. Choose one, but then Go can't do anything, right? Like, Go will be like, nah, I don't want to do that. Right? So, to be honest, like, you could think of something like, Like, how do I, can I create a new, can I create a new, I mean, let's essentially just try to run this back, right? Let's have tasks dot go, and if I do, what do I do? Yeah, package main, and then I do func main. Let's just do fmt dot, actually it do it for me, print ln hello world. Yeah, so let's run this. So I can say cd pointers go run tasks. Yeah, that worked great. So I can do something like this only. I can say type person struct, right? And I can say this type person will have name s string and age int, right? This is very simple person struct. Now I can have, so to speak, I can have something. How do I don't even know the syntax. मतलब मैं इतना बेवकूफ हूँ. Um, yeah, I'm so crazy for that. Yeah, so essentially that is how we do it. So we do type person, and then how do we call um, uh, um okay, so yeah, essentially we can say func p should be a person, and this will be like age, and this returns an int. I will say return 0. So this is essentially a method that will be called on a person struct, and this will say p dot age. Great. So I can say p1 is equal to person, um, name is equal to Natik. How do I do this? Help me. And age is equal to 12. What is the issue? Is it like, okay? What is the issue with this? It's not used. Right. So what I can do is now I can do fmt dot print f, and I can say age of p1 is um, you see this works. Age of p1 is that. But if I were to say something like pointer to that, and I actually just use a pointer over here, even though even though the person who has created this method intended it to be called by a person struct, not a pointer, because I have done this and because Go allows me, I could pretty much run this like this as well, and this will give me the same result, right? So that argument that you just made is dumb. So right, an interface type is defined as a set of method signatures. I knew this. I knew it. And so the way I think about this is quite simple, because we had, I think, something like that. Let me just delete that. What we had was, I think, something over here with it. Yeah, so we had a bunch of shapes. So we have these bunch of shapes struct, right? And so we have a bunch of methods and functions for it. Well, I could just say, well, um, make a type shape, which is an interface that encompasses all methods, which encompasses all methods all methods that have a name of area and returns that has a name of area, does not take any input, and returns a float 64. So again, over here, this is area, returns float 64. Now rectangle is comes under a shape, and the benefit of that is you could have bunch of shapes defined over here. You can have this struct, and this struct can easily call area without you having to know whether it is a rectangle, circle, or triangle, so to speak, right? This is an exercise. An interface type is defined as a set of method signatures, name, parameter, and return types. A value of interface type can hold any value that implements those methods, not functions. Note, there is an error in the example code on line 22. Okay. Uh, vertex, the value type doesn't implement. Okay, so first of all, let's read this. So we have a type observer, which is app interface, which it applies to all of them, having the method abs that returns 464. Right, and we have var a APSR. We say f is equal to my float. Okay, right. And we have v. So we have a is absurd. A is equal to f. V is a vertex, not v star, and choose not implement and does not implement. Um, right. So this is ABS. It's 464, and we are essentially what do you want me to do? So essentially, this is a method. This method signature works, right? But this works on this. But I can give a value like that. That's implemented though. What if I remove this? Does that work? So we have a type I of interface which just needs to have this method that takes nothing and gives nothing. And we have a type T which is struct of S string. This method means type T implements the interface T, but we don't need to explicitly declare that it does so. Right? So this if it's self see this, you'll be like, oh wow, that's great. This is essentially a method which is M, which takes nothing, returns nothing, and takes T. But I'm not saying that this implements I interface. This explicitly just happens. And well, there's pros and cons to this, I would say. Like now, I don't know whether if I'm looking at a huge library, I'm looking at this func, and I'm like, okay, I don't know if this implements an interface or not because I have to look at its function prototype with the interface. While at Java, it was explicit. It said, oh, well, this implements an interface. So I guess that's there. So we have var it. Um, I think can't this be just like this? And we have im. Im just prints t dot s. So if I were to run this, if I were to do cd interfaces are implemented explicitly, go run tasks.go, it says hello, which is great. I can change this into hello world, right? And yeah, that works. Great. Interface values. Under the hood, interface values can be thought of as a tuple of a value and a concrete type. So tuple and ordered collection. An ordered collection of elements often बट ये तो काम करना चाहिए ना ऐसे भी. अच्छी बात है. ये मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा. Certain things in goes are just crazy. Boring. Where's the interesting parts of Go? भाई तो कुछ है ही नहीं. Concurrency. Oh shit. Concurrency है भाई. Um, I'm a bit tired with this, to be honest. Let's just close this. Let's do this. Like, let's read through this a bit. I think I'm enjoying this. Let's read through this a bit. I mean, ऐसे भी खुला हुआ है, so why not just have a look, little bit. थोड़ा देख लेते हैं क्या क्या है. Um, fintech loves Go. Is this true, chat? Yeah, I saw Zerodha's tech talk on using Go for some database related something. Yeah, I don't recall, to be honest. Hmm. Highly optimized single threaded engine fed by a ring buffer. भाई इतनी बड़ी बड़ी बातें. Yeah, I mean, if there's only one thing running at a time, you do not need to worry about concurrency, log, state modification, lost update, whatever. Log-free architecture. Yeah, some बड़ी बड़ी बातें. It seems like it's a bunch of one of the common things is just like avoiding it altogether. Yeah, I mean, cool. interesting. I think I'll be watching maps, which is pretty much maps and Go are pretty much hash maps. I think we'll do that. Yeah, I mean that was fun. So, guys, thank you for tuning in for another late night coding session. I was not able to do much, but yeah, I mean, um, it just got sad. College is starting soon, so I'll miss my mom and dad. Well, I guess, thank you for tuning in for another late night session, and see you later, alligator.